Hi friends, you welcome to Shyam Institute. We will discuss today's current affairs. Have a look at these headlines. 86th Grandmaster, 6th semiconductor unit, it is started in UP, and Operation Karnigutta. Operation Karnigutta is a Naxal operation, and Belt and Road Cooperation Pack, Belt and Road Initiative, BRI, and Bhuvan Ribhu. These are headlines. We will discuss some additional points as well. Moving to the first and foremost one, Belt and Road Cooperation Pack. This particular Belt and Road Initiative Corporation Pack, generally this is called a BRI, Belt and Road Initiative. This was officially launched on 2013 by China with the idea to join or make industrial corridors in and around the particular nation, China. So recently one country, that is Colombia joined as a member in this particular BRI, and then it has accepted for this particular Belt and Road Initiative. That is Colombia, South American nation, or we can call it as a Latin American nation. So it has, Colombia has got given a green signal to join in this particular one. This BRI was started on 7th September 2013. 7th September 2013, and the idea to construct corridors from one nation to another nation to adjoin all the nations for further trade cooperation. That is the main intention behind BRI. But long back India said no to this particular project, and then China focused on the near and dear nations like Sri Lanka, Myanmar, and then Pakistan. It has introduced several ports, and then they were given lease to the particular nation. So like your Gwadar port in Pakistan, Pyongyang port in Myanmar, and then Hambantota port in Sri Lanka are examples of this particular project or plan. So that is a ring of pearl we call. It surrounded India anyways, and then China extended its a trade and infrastructure building project recently with the Colombia. So with the Colombia, then it has got this particular pack recently. So they may ask the country, which nation, with which nation. India extended its BRC pack, Board and Road Cooperation Pack, that is Colombia, South American nation. Andes mountains are famous in Colombia, we know. So here if you observe Belt and Road Initiative, then several nations, European nations, several American nations, China is going to get involved and then to make a strong industrial corridor. So with this particular one, then the Colombia and China can build strong trade agreements. There's a context here. So nation Colombia, important here we have. Moving to the next one, and UN Security Council, United Nations Security Council, recent UNSC 1267 Sanctions Committee. 1267 Sanctions Committee in general, here we have this UNSC Security Councils. UNSC, we should know something about UNSC first. United Nations Security Council. This is the working organ of the famous working organ of United Nations organization. We know the working organs are United Nations General Assembly, United Nations Security Council, and ECOSOC, Economic and Social Cooperation Organization, ECOSOC, and then here we have a secretariat, and here we have a International Court of Justice, and here we have trusteeship. So these are working organs of or wings of United Nations organization. So UNSC is anyways part of this one. So UNSC, India asked UNSC to focus on this particular TRF. The TRF, which is the resistant front. The TRF is a terrorist group, TRF. The resistant front. India asked UNSC to make this particular TRF as a international terrorist group. That's the reason UNSC 1267 Sanctions Committee it has asked UNSC to get involve or include this TRF into this committee 1267. 1267 committee is all about, this committee is all about ISIS and Al-Qaeda. Al-Qaeda, these are international terrorist groups. So then with the 1267 sanctions committee, they introduced the sanctions on these two groups. Likewise, India asked to get considered TRF as a international terrorist group. There is a context here. So ISIS, we know ISIS is a Islamic State of Iraq and Syria. That is the one, and Al Qaeda. So India asking UNSC to get make this particular TRF into this one. Okay, and then here I will add some more points here. If you observe this one, we know UNSC as a UNSC having permanent member nations and temporary member nations. Perm 5 we have, permanent 5 nations. Temporary member nations are 10 we have. These temporary member nations duration is 2 years. Every 2 years 5 new numbers will come in this particular part. And permanent nations, as I mentioned, US, UK, Russia, France and China. France and China, only Asian country China. These 5 are called permanent 5 nations. Permanent 5 nations. And then here we have, if you observe, these are temporary nations. They join as a member in January 1st and the next year December 31st. Till next year December 31st, their membership continues if they considered as a temporary member nations. Temporary member nations are non-permanent nations. Likewise, every year 5 countries join as a member here. 5 countries. Every year 5 countries will join and their tenure extend till next year December 31st. That's a part. This time 2025-26, then 5 countries joined. One is Pakistan 1, Denmark, Somalia, Panama and Greece. These 5 nations joined as a members this time. Their tenure continue from January 1st, 2025 to till 2026 December 31st. They continue as a member nations of this particular one. And in addition to this 1267 sanctions committee, 1267 sanctions, we have further sanctions as well here. Further sanctions groups here. Then if you observe 1267 sanctions, generally sanctions on areas like as I mentioned ISIS, Al Qaeda, and then India is asking to bring TRF into this one. TRF into this particular sanctions committee. If they announce sanctions, certainly then their economical conditions of that particular group and then relation with the other countries on which the whatever the countries are supporting, simply then they will be taken into a consideration, and like the UNSC will look after them and they give enough punishment to those nations. So that is the intention behind India to ask UNSC to make this particular entity TRF into that particular group. Okay, that is a part. 1267 sanctions is related to this type of groups making or recognizing them as a international terrorist groups. That's a point. Moving to the next one. Yes, Bhuvan Ribu, eminent lawyer, India's famous lawyer. He got a medal of honor. From World Jurist Association. This World Jurist Association located at Washington DC recently announced that he is the person. He is the Bhuvan Ribu, famous lawyer and then child rights lawyer, or children rights lawyer. He got this particular prestigious award, and then he is the first Indian who got this particular award. First Indian who got this particular award. Foreigners, they're like famous Winston Churchill, several people then got this particular award, but first Indian who got Bhuvan Ribu got this particular award. And then here if you observe this World Jurist Association, this is located at Washington DC. I said Washington DC. In a particular meeting which was held at Dominican Republic. In that particular event, they announced this particular the medal of honor to the lawyer Bhuvan Ribu. There's a point. Moving to the next one. The next one, Anita Anand. Anita Anand has been appointed as Canada's foreign minister. Canada's foreign minister. Canada's foreign minister. She appointed as Canada's foreign minister. What is the name of her? Anita Anand. Anita Anand. And then she is the first minority women. First minority women reach to this position. Minority women reach to this position. That's a special thing. Canada's foreign minister. She became the foreign minister. She was a lawyer, famous lawyer, and then she turned as the foreign minister. Foreign minister. Moving to the next one. 3nm chip design center. 3 nanometer. 3 nanometer. So we have got a 5 nanometer and 7 nanometer, 5 nanometer and 7 nanometer chips. Already then these chip centers are available in India, but then now the MeitY Ministry of Electronics and Information Technology, Ashwini Vaishnav, the minister, inaugurated or introduced this 3nm nanometer design center at 2 places. One is at Noida and the second one is at Bangalore. 2 centers, Noida and as well as Bangalore. 3 nanometer. Nano in the sense, nano is nothing but 10 power 9 minus 9. Nano 10 power minus 9. And micro 10 power minus 6. Kilo 10 power minus 3. Likewise. Okay, likewise then it's a nanometer chip. Noida and Bangalore. Moving to the next one. JNU suspends that agreement with the Turkey's Inonu University. This is the one. Turkey's Inonu University. It has got this particular agreement on Feb 3rd 2025 actually, to share the knowledge transfer agreement between Turkey and India's the prestigious university Jawaharlal Nehru University. This was happened on 3rd February, and then India on May 15th 2025 it suspended this agreement of transferring knowledge, because then during the war time this Turkey supported Pakistan, our rival nation. So then due to the security purpose, national security is the first priority of India. So then by keeping that in mind, then simply then India suspended this particular agreement between suspended this agreement of Inonu University of Turkey. That's the point. Inonu University of Turkey. And this particular JNU was officially introduced on 1969. It was introduced on 1969, and the first VC was G. Parthasarathi, the first VC, Vice Chancellor of this particular Jawaharlal Nehru University. It was a special year, 1969. 1969 August 15th, ISRO was introduced. 1969, the banks were nationalized. Okay, so several things are there on 1969. Okay, this was inaugurated by JNU. Jawaharlal Nehru University was inaugurated by by the time the Prime Minister was Indira Gandhi. As a Prime Minister of nation, she inaugurated this particular famous university. That's a point. Moving to the next one. Yeah, India's 6th semiconductor unit. The 6th semiconductor unit officially introduced 6th semiconductor unit in Uttar Pradesh, UP Jaishwal. 6th semiconductor unit. The first was Gujarat. The second was as well Gujarat, but a different location. Third was in Assam. The fourth and fifth again in Gujarat. Sansad. So Gujarat Sansad, same location, Sansad, around in this particular location around 3 semiconductor units are there for us. So the 6th one is UP. 6th is UP. Semiconductor unit. Moving to the next one. Next one. So speed up the India's efforts to eliminate tuberculosis. The calls for the scaling up TB elimination efforts. The National TB Elimination Program, that is called NTEP. In this particular program, the Prime Minister introduced a 100 days plan of action, to control tuberculosis cases. Officially, Pradhan Mantri TB Muft Bharat Abhiyan, Pradhan Mantri Tuberculosis Muft Bharat Abhiyan was introduced on 2022 by the President of India, 2022. So on the lines of this program, they are focusing on TB to eliminate the tuberculosis. The government officially announced the recent figures. World Health Organization, with the statistics of the World Health Organization, the cases of the TB cases are 18% controlled and 80% reduced, coming down, and then the WHO against the statistics of this, the deaths related to the tuberculosis 21% reduced. These are the recent statistics about the TB cases of India. But anyways, like the earlier, compared with the earlier, for every 1 lakh people, then 200 plus people used to die with this particular TB. Right now it's reduced to 100 and plus, 190, 170 plus. So that is the context here. So TB elimination efforts, the government officially announced the National TB Elimination Program, the 100-day plan action to control the TB cases. Okay, there's a point. Moving to the next one, Operation Nadar. Operation Nadar is this was introduced on May 15th by the Armed Forces of India, Indian Armed Forces, and Jammu Kashmir Regional Forces and CRPF. These three joint group introduced a concept operation called Operation Nadar to eliminate the terrorists in the terrorist attack happened at Pahalgam and nearby areas of Jammu and Kashmir. So to completely anti-terror operations in Jammu and Kashmir, name given as Operation Nadar. That's the one. Moving to the next one, Tista Prahar. This Tista Prahar exercise recently observed in West Bengal. Here, like the capabilities of Indian Army, the capabilities of Indian Army, Navy and Air Force are verified and checked, and then the powerful army activities, army exercise and naval exercise, air force exercises then were observed under a program called exercise called Tista Prahar, which was observed in West Bengal. Tista. Okay, there's one. Moving to the next one, Chinab Bridge, Katra Khajigund. Kazigund. In this particular area, on the Chinab Bridge, India's tallest bridge, on this bridge, the first train was operated. Train operated on this bridge on May 15th, 2025. That is from Katra to Khazigund. Okay. Moving to the next one, monthly unemployment. This unemployment report generally then we used to get for quarterly ones. We used to get quarterly and yearly. But the Ministry of Statistics and Program Implementation, the Ministry of Statistics and Program Implementation recently announced then monthly unemployment report. So with this particular one, for the month of April month, the unemployment rate stood at 5.1%. The unemployment rate stood at 5.1%. In this particular one, the male and female ratio, if you observe, male and female ratio, if you observe, these are very close. Male is 5%, female is 5.2%, 5.2, the average is 5.1. So for the month April, this particular unemployment observed 5.1% average. Okay, that is a point. So then earlier it was quarterly and yearly ones. Then these statistics gives by a national statistical organization, which works under Ministry of Statistics and Program Improvement. Moving to the next one, NSE shareholders. National Stock Exchange, India's stock exchanges, familiar stock exchanges are two. We have famous stock exchanges. Famous stock exchanges are two. Then we know National Stock Exchange and Bombay Stock Exchange. These were regulated by the Securities and Exchange Board of India, which is located at Mumbai. Securities and Exchange Board of India, which is located in Mumbai. National Stock Exchange and Bombay Stock Exchange as well located in Mumbai. So National Stock Exchange recently, then it crossed 1 lakh shareholders. 1 lakh shareholders. That's why it is in news. It has crossed 1 lakh shareholders. They may ask question, which of the following stock exchanges recently crossed 1 lakh shareholders? That is National Stock Exchange. And Bombay Stock Exchange is the Asia's largest, Asia's first stock exchange. Asia's first stock exchange, and its location is called Dalal Street. And the world's biggest stock exchange is world's biggest New York Stock Exchange. New York Stock Exchange is the world's biggest stock exchange. Anyways, like if you come here, then try to comment here on in India how many stock exchanges are there. I want to know from you, then how many stock exchanges are there in India. The number I want, okay, that's a point. And moving to the next one, 86th Grandmaster. LR Srihari stood as a 86th Grandmaster. 86th Grandmaster LR Srihari. So then that was decided yesterday, May 15th. So like 85th Grandmaster was Shyam Nikhil, and 84th was Vaishali Ramesh Babu, 83rd Aditya Samant, and 82nd Uppala Praneeth, 81st Sayantan Das, and 80th was Vignesh NR. So they won't ask this one, don't worry. And then in Andhra Pradesh we have 4 Grandmasters. Most of the Grandmasters from Tamil Nadu. Most of the Grandmasters. The two first Grandmaster of India, first Grandmaster, first Khel Ratna awardee, the Vishwanathan Anand. Then he got a Grandmastership in 1987. In Andhra Pradesh we have 4 Grandmasters. Recent was Lalita Babu, and Harika, Hampi, and Harikrishna, Hampi, Harika, Lalit Babu. Harikrishna was a recent one, 6th Grandmaster, Hampi 7th, and 26th Harika, 27th Lalit Babu. Okay, that's one. Moving to the next one. Yes, National Dengue Day. National Dengue Day is observed on May 16th. This particular day has been observing since 2010. Then we observing National Dengue Day on May 16th. So then we know all about this dengue. This is a most dangerous disease. Generally then which affects through the mosquitoes. So pathogen is mosquito. For this when right now then we have got several options, but like out of all these, being clean, making our premises hygiene and clean is the only solution. So that is the reason the theme for the 2025 of National Dengue Day, act early, prevent dengue, clean surroundings and healthy living. That is a given theme. So act early, prevent dengue, clean surroundings and healthy living. That is the one. Moving to the next one, Operation Karrigutta. This Karrigutta observed between Telangana and Chhattisgarh the border areas of Telangana and Chhattisgarh, in border areas which is near Karnigutta. It is a Naxal eliminating operation, Naxal elimination program, and then they succeeded in this particular one. Around 20 plus Naxals were lost their lives in this particular operation, and then making Chhattisgarh a Naxal free nation is a target of this particular program, Operation Karnigutta. Yeah, these are current affairs for the day. We will meet in the next session with the continuation of this one. Thank you and all the best.